Hi everyone, it's Chris. Welcome back to my parlour. And at this moment I'm going to share all of my charms with you. They're in this huge bag. There are hundreds of them. So if you want to sit through that, you're more than welcome as I go through them. Hopefully one at a time, but if necessitates I will go through a bit faster than that. So get yourself a nice warm hot beverage, which I have my hot chocolate here, my hot mint chocolate, and I'm going to enjoy that ding ding while I'm doing this video for you. So find yourself a beverage, sit back, relax, and enjoy my charms. I have quite a few of them, so I'm going to show them to you. Pop them in this bowl. I do keep a selenite, or no, it's not selenite, a quartz crystal with my charms at all times, just to help clear them, to keep them cleared, and to set the intent of what they mean, which does alter sometimes depending on who I'm reading for and what sort of information comes to me. So sometimes it's a little bit different for each charm, but most of the time they are consistent, and I keep this quartz crystal with them, so that stays there in my charm bag at all times. As you can see, there are hundreds. So if you're prepared for that and you want to view them, I'll pop them back in the bag when I have shown them to you. So I'm going to pop that there with the zip open so I can add the charms back. So take a sip of your hot beverage while I go through my charms with you. I'm going to be adding now the ones that I received from my friend over at 1888 Stars. The Witch's Ball. Witch's Ball. Pair of, well, one thong or flip-flop, whatever you want to call it. My Love, Hope, Faith. Love, Faith, Hope charm as well. My little witch on a broomstick. My elephant. And my penguin. Chill out, I reckon my penguin's going to be. Chill out. Enjoy your circumstances, not whatever they are. Okay, so I'm going to go through them. Some of them have significance. If they have a significant meaning to me, I will tell you what that is. Otherwise, most of them have come from my own collection. I did try and start a charm bracelet once, and I did receive some charms, so I'll bring that when I come to those. I'll let you know. Otherwise, they're generic from eBay or Etsy. They sell them in lots. You can find them all over there. Sometimes you can find them too on AliExpress. Don't know about Wish and things like that. So you want cheaper charms, that's where you would go. I also collected them from op shops, from old jewellery, and sometimes even, yes, I found them on the road. Just walking along, I pick something up if it's a charm or charm related, and it's still usable. If you find them, use them. That's what I reckon. So I'm just going to go through them. If they're significant, I will let you know. Okay. I love this. I found this the other day while I was walking down at Salisbury. Was it Salisbury or was it at Islington? Not sure, but I just found that on the side of the road, and it's a key to a storage locker or a padlock of some sort. So that was interesting. This belonged to my mum. It's one of her watches. I don't know whether it's pure gold. Don't think it's gold, but it's gold-like. It belonged to my mum, and I thought, oh, I've got to have this. I use this as a longer time because it's a long watch compared to the other one, which I'll show you later when it comes to it. But yeah, so that's significant to me. This belonged to me when I was a teenager. We went to one of those parties, I think it was a Hollywood party, where they sold items of jewellery, and I chose this one. So it's no longer useful as a piece of jewellery to me, so I use it for my charm bag. This came from my son's tools and things and little bits and pieces. A spring. This also was from my childhood. I don't know, I found it in my mum's button box. I don't know if anyone else has a button box, but I have a button box, and when we were kids, Mum would give us access to it, and we'd just play with all the buttons, and this was in that, so I just kept that for my charm bag. Some charms are double, some are single. This came off one of my daughter's cardigans the other day, so I kept that. Again, I found this one. I don't know why I had it or how I had it, but I've had it for a long time, and I just added it to my charm bag. This is a little pouch. It opens up with a little letter inside. I collect crosses. This is one of my collection. A pen nib for one of my fountain pens. Letters, quite a few of those, so I'll gather those together as I see them. If I see triples, I'll just add them. Letters, just beads, letter beads. Oh, this came from my nana. My nana was German. Her whole line from my mum's side was German. And other parts too, which I found out when I had a DNA test. So that was really interesting. I found out that I'm part Russian, part Dutch, part Scandinavian. So, but mostly about 35-45% German. Irish and Scottish is my main heritage, but little bits and pieces all over. And this belonged to my nana, and these are called frozen charlottes. They have a different meaning to the frozen charlotte that's a story in America. These were always used put into puddings, Christmas puddings usually, as little tokens in Christmas puddings, and whoever got a token was blessed for that year in their pudding. So this was always put into a little pudding. Whether it's a meat pudding or a fruit pudding at Christmas time, depended on when you wanted to incorporate them. But these are frozen charlottes, made out of pottery. Yeah, so that's what I collected from there. This is a coin, a real coin, and it's from 2014. It's, I don't know. I think it's a Chinese coin. I'm not sure. Sometimes they pass these off as 5-cent pieces, and I found it one day in my shopping change. I actually found that somewhere walking along the road. It's amazing what you find. It really is, if you keep an eye out. Blue frog. There are actually blue frogs. They're very toxic. My daughter took a photograph of one when she was visiting an aquarium in Phuket, and that was beautiful blue frog. I will add it to my community tab, where you can go onto my community things and see my photographs and things that I put up there sometimes, and some notifications and things. I will show you a picture of a real blue frog. So yeah, so that was really interesting. Yeah. I do have all the zodiac signs as well. Some more keys that I've collected. This is from a little lock you put on travel bags, so I collected that. Got eye colours. My little wish box. I just love this little wish box. I got this from eBay. Little wish box. My alien, which I found just walking down the street. Honestly. Fish. This came from my mum's button box. It's the solar plexus chakra button. Another one from my mum's button box for the crown chakra. A little piece of opal. I think I bought this from one of the jewellery section in one of the op shops. Still hanging in there with me. think this one came from a Christmas bonbon. You know, the ones you pull. Christmas cracker. Another key from a lock that I had. Love this one. This belonged to my mum from a piece of broken brooch that she once had. It was broken, but it's got a little emerald in it. Well, fake emerald. I don't think it's a real emerald, but yeah, from my mum. This says Beauty and Brains. It's a bit tricky to show you. I'll get a piece of paper and put behind it so you can see it. This came, I found this years and years ago. It was in my mum's button box. It's Elizabeth North school blazer. I would reckon the prefects would have worn one of these during the time. It's not a family connection, but I'm not too sure how my mum got hold of it. But it would have been used, yeah, by the prefect of a high school, Elizabeth North. Another button for my mum's button box. This is for the brow chakra. I don't know where I got this one from, to be honest. I think I might have got it from an op shop somewhere. But I thought that was really quite good to keep in my chamber. And it's been behaving itself. Nothing's got caught up too much in the chains. So I'm really quite happy with that. I like direction arrows. A pair of scissors. Spell book. Pin from my mum's button box. Piece. Don't know how often I saw this back in the 70s, and oh my god, peace, man. Peace. This used to be my toe ring, but I used it because it's like a broken commitment. So it was one of my old toe rings. It's clean, don't worry. I did clean it. This belonged to one of my dad's cufflinks that had been, I don't know what happened to the other part of it, but I took off the little bell here, so it's like equal strength, but it belonged to one of my dad's cufflinks. I think I have the other part of that cufflink in here somewhere. When I come to it, I will let you know. I love school. I didn't like school. Well, I think I like primary school better than high school. I think I like kindy the best. Um, but no, I'll tell a bit of a lie. I did enjoy TAFE college when I learnt to take care of children. I became a childcare worker, and I trained at TAFE, which I really enjoyed for 2 years. It was part of my change when I was talked about it in an earlier video about 1989. That's when I finished my training and started work in a childcare centre, and a lot of things happened during that time, and it's one of my best times of my life. Another part of that zip puller, little licorice all sort. A shell that I found at one of my local beaches. It means home for me, and so that always represents home. This belonged to my dad many years ago. There were you buy a legacy badge or you buy a legacy pin just to support the legacy organisation, which is for anyone whose family or father, mother, doesn't matter, anyone who belonged to the legacy were from the war, and they helped anyone that were affected by loss during the war. And it's a very, very good organisation. It's still going, actually. I'm not too sure what else they do besides that, but mates helping mates. That's the mantra of the legacy, mates helping mates. Little bus. Doesn't come up very often, my bus. It's in there, but doesn't come up very often, to be honest. A 5-cent piece. As you can see from the other coin, it's very similar in size, and that this 5-cent piece is a little bit thinner than the other coin that I showed you. And this is an echidna on the front with the queen on the back. But now, of course, I haven't seen any new coins with the king, only a commemorative one for the queen on her passing, but I haven't seen new ones yet. And Monday is the king's birthday. It was, of course, the queen's birthday, but it takes a lot of effort to change public holidays, so they're just transferring it over to the king's birthday. An eraser, another barbell, an elk, an armchair rocker. Love those rockers. Oh, so comfortable. I used to have one when I was pregnant and nursing for my daughter after she was born in her room, which was big enough to have one. It was very comfortable. I would nurse her and then she would fall asleep, and we just sort of rock her gently and pop her into a crib or to a cot or a bassinet, whatever it was. The Americans call it cribs, what we call it cots. Doesn't come up very often, but does come up. Oh, this is what I want. Oh, and it comes up for some people. I don't know whether they've actually anything happened once they've received the charm, but this is what I want. I want to buy my forever home, and this is what I need to have my forever home, which is my major when. My major when is my forever home for me and my kids, and this is what I want, and this is how I have to get it because I haven't got the money to buy one. So yeah, so now you know what my big when is. So when I talk about my when, that's what I'm talking about, my forever home. I'm happy here. I'm not unhappy, but I just want something that's mine, and my kids and I can make it ours and live our rest of our lives in it. and then I can have, well, I have made up a library, I've made up a bed. Well, my bed's is now my reading room, my dollhouse, but I wanted a room that's specifically my dollhouse, and I can't do that here, but I've got an area for it, so it's sort of when that's been sort of changed a little bit, so it's a now, and I've got a library, it's a now, and I've got my bath, my foldable bath, that's a now, but you know, my when's still there. Now this belonged to me, it's a locket. I found it many years ago. I bought it many years ago, so that belongs to me, but I really like that. And it comes up a few times in readings. A thimble. There's another thimble too. Did I put it in here? I don't think I did, but when if I come to it, I'll let you know, because that was in my mum's button box. The initial G. I like to have initials too. It can mean whatever it means to you. This again was in my mum's button box. This came from somewhere at home. I don't know where it came from or why I've got it, but I've got it. Some things I looked specifically for on eBay for charms and Etsy for charms, and I have got some of those, but I don't remember which ones they are. We're talking about watches. This is again belonged to my mum, and it's a circle one, so it's a smaller one, so it means a short amount of time, but it belonged to my mum as well. From my mum's button box. There's all sorts of things in my mum's button box. From my mum's button box. Remember when cameos were all the rage? But this is I bought on eBay. It's not an original. For you, my heart. I can take a drink. Another cameo. A stone I found in the garden. Just means irritation, a little bit of irritation of some sort. Another letter. A fish that my daughter gave me. I'm not too sure if I'll keep it in here because, oh no, it's alright. It's like a little fish skeleton, but fish usually mean a lot of, so a skeleton may mean that you once had a lot, but some of it's depleted perhaps. You've used up too much of it, I don't know. Maybe, depends again who I'm reading for and what comes to me. Some charms just do that. Another one from my mum's button box. One that I had bought myself for my charm bag. A little bird. Haha, found it. From my mum's button box. Yes, she kept all sorts of things in there. A thimble. Mum used to do a lot of embroidery. She loved cross stitch, and so she used the thimble quite a bit. So it means a lot more too than just from a button box. A contract. Another key. This came from a necklace I once had. It had a piece of silver wrapped around it. But I took it off because, I don't know, intuitively, for some reason, the crystal amethyst kept telling me it was choking. I know, weird. So I took the band off and just left it here. I just love amethyst. It's my favourite crystal of all time. It's a natural master healer as well. And it's also for the brow chakra or the third eye chakra, but more likely for the brow or for the crown chakra, in my opinion. Heaps more to go, guys. He just flung himself back into the box, into the bag. Remember when we used to have cassettes? Who remembers cassettes and the tape recorders? Oh my God. I still have some tapes at home actually, but I haven't got a tape recorder to play them in. And some of the tapes have my dad's voice on it, and it would have been the last time anybody had spoken, because he passed away in 1982, and the tape would have been recorded probably at 79 or something like that, so it would have been the last time anyone heard his voice, or all of us anyway. But I don't know, I'm just, sometimes you just I don't want to hear. Yeah. This belonged to my dad, talking about Leo charm. Just made Leo, the last day of Leo, he was born. So that's interesting. Talking about my little astronaut. I specifically searched for these. Bow tie. Reminds me of Doctor Who. And a little engagement ring. A cocktail. Still going, guys, there's heaps more. A nail from my son's toolbox. I think this came from, actually, if I think about it now, my mum's button box. But would have been used on, I don't know if you remember or have had contact with those stretchy wire things that got a screw on each end, and you stretch it to make it like a curtain rod. This come off one of those. Another locket, but no certificates. Little blue car. Heartbeat. Another elephant. My heavy duty rope for walking outside your comfort zone. You've got the heavy duty rope. Buddha bowl. Cardinal. We don't have cardinals here in Australia. We have willy wagtails in sort of comparative sort of meaning in Aboriginal folklore. Willy wagtail means a message from spirit or from a family member to family member, and the cardinal has the same interpretation. It's a message from someone in spirit, a family member, family to family. I don't have a willy wagtail. I need to find a willy wagtail. Do you know they've got willy wagtails in Thailand? My daughter, when she went to Thailand, she came back home and told me, Mum, I saw a willy wagtail in Thailand. So it's not just instinctively a Australian bird. It's in Thailand as well. Whether or not it's a different species, not different species, different branch of the same family, same bird family, I don't know. But willy wagtails are in Thailand. So there you go. Oh, there it goes. Dropped in the bag again. Another medallion. I like religious medallions, not because I'm religious, but because I love the energy of some of the religious icons, especially Mother Mary. That's she relates to Mother Mary energy, even though I'm not Catholic. I do clean for. I just cleaned for. I do help elderly people clean for them. I did do that. It was my job until recently. And this lady was Catholic, and some of the things she had were so beautiful. It was just the energy in her house was just really, I don't know, calm, and just she had a lot of Mother Marys hanging on the wall, and the statues, and it was just beautiful. She passed away recently. I'm not too sure where this came from, but there is a connection for me. I just can't remember where it was. And no, it wasn't in my mum's button box. I'm not too sure where it came from, but there is a connection for me. So if you're going to find charms that have a connection for you, it's even more special when they turn up in somebody's reading, because whatever, it's transferring something very strong, and it's a strong message there for somebody. Well, that's how I feel about it anyway. Everybody has their own interpretation of what charms mean, and that's good, because then you have a very individual reading when you have one with somebody. Old-fashioned iron. I've got one of these, an old-fashioned iron. I use it as a doorstop. As I say, some I actually sought out. I wanted to have a specific charm, so I sourced them out. I've got some more of these around the place somewhere, and I want to use them in my bath products. So I'm going to have to hunt them up this weekend, and being the King's holiday weekend, it's going to be an opportunity for me to do that. I've done my chores today, so I have the rest of the weekend, Sunday and Monday, to actually find these, because I want to use them in my bath products. I take some meanings from Lenormand as well in some of my charms, like the fish, which means a lot of, tower, and things like that. Light bulb. Aha, this is the one I sourced out. I wanted a light bulb for an aha moment. I wanted some little words too, so I sourced some of them out as well. So it is possible to do all that when you start sourcing your charms. Anywhere you can find them, and if it means something to you, it will mean something to somebody else. And if you make up your own interpretations, they're easier to remember, and just adapt them, whatever is being told to you through spirit, what happens next. This too has a significance from a family. I'm not too sure where I sourced this one, but it was a family connection here, the fleur de lis. I'm not too sure where. It is also too, it has an eagle on it, so I'm not too sure. Mummy, Dad got it somewhere for some, because my dad was in the war, Second World War. It has an American eagle on it. Now, whether or not that's the connection, I don't know. But he served in Darwin. At the time, he didn't go overseas, but he did serve. Sadly, after his father passed away, he went off to war. Fertility? Anyone want a fertility goddess? She comes up a fair bit, actually, but she's not necessarily a physical manifestation of fertility, as in a baby, but she could be also to emphasising something creative that you want to nurture and bring to life, as it were. As always, again, some things are directly connected to personal recollection of what that might mean for them as well. So when you come across like the fertility goddess, she may mean various things for various people. Here is the bear, Mama Bear. This it was just a piece, like a connection piece of jewellery, but I've utilised it as St. Michael's sword, because you can see like a sword kind of feeling there. But again, you can interpret things differently. It may not start out what you want it to be, but it becomes a charm once you've added it to your collection and have given it a meaning. So anything can be a charm. Anything can be a charm. Even a stone, like I showed you, can be a charm if you can give it a meaning. A rubber band could be a charm if you give it a meaning. A nail, a spring could be a charm if you give it meaning. A hair clip could be a charm if you give it meaning. If you follow me. You know, a peg could be a charm if you give it meaning. A button can be a charm if you give it meaning, like for the sacral chakra here. My mum's button box. Hand from my mum's button box. Remember playing marbles when you were a kid? Or you lose your marbles, as the saying goes. And back in my day, marbles were very important. Kids would collect marbles, and some marbles were more valuable than others, and there were so many colours and so many variations, big ones, small ones, and each marble had a specific reason to be in their marble bag. So marble is in a way a reflection of that childhood, and also too about it belongs in its own little, has its own little history. And I just love marbles, because they're all very different. And if you can find some really old marbles that are mainly made out of glass, some I think, don't quote me, but some I think were probably made out of bone as well, could be, or wood, I think, don't quote me again, but a lot of them were made out of really real glass. And this one's very similar, but it's not an old one, not from my childhood, but yeah, marbles were important game for a lot of children back in my day. They had their own collection. Everyone knew whose marble it belonged to too. A little bit of a glitter in that one. I think it's either opal or pearlish from a shell. Don't know. Bats in your belfry. Bats. You saw the video that I put up a while ago about the bats. My son and I were walking in Botanic Park just for a day out because I came down from my daughter's and we had lunch together with my son because he stayed home here while I went to my daughter's, and there were so many bats hanging in the trees. There were thousands of them, and I'll put a video up of it. And I was surprised to see them there because I didn't know there was a bat colony there, but it was an amazing thing to find, and yeah, very unique. Oh, another one. I didn't know how many I had. Another one. Pair of binoculars, very good for seeing past what you see right now, see further into the distance of what you're, not for seeing into the future, just seeing a different aspect of what is happening now, seeing further afield. This usually represents a man or a masculine female. I know, but not to be gender specific, just interpreting the energy. This I came across by accident in one of the charms that I ordered on Etsy from one of the ladies that I order things from sometimes. So I thought this is really good for anyone from the past who smokes, like my dad. This would be representing of him. I do have a pipe too, so I thought that's like a spirit message here. Another flexibility symbol. Well, a few of those actually. I do have a coffin. I sourced one of these too. I wanted a coffin. Doesn't come up very often, but does sometimes. Oh, that just flew itself in there. That was didn't want to be seen. A coat hanger. The devil. I found a devil, and I love it. Because sometimes we all tempted, aren't we, for various reasons. Now this is a bit more serious temptation to my other one. I don't think I've got another one, but I do have it in my possibilities cards. A little fluffy devil, but this one's a more serious. What do you call it? Temptation. Little seesaw, which is tangled up with it's tangled up with this one, but it's which direction are you going in, and which direction are they going in? How can you compromise? Sometimes charms do get mixed up like that, and there's a message there for you in that particular combination. So it's the direction here, and the two people opposing directions. How are you going to balance that? How are you going to make it so you both win? When one wants to go one way, one wants to go the other way. How do you alter that direction? How do you find the right direction? So things sometimes do mix up like that, and that's when you can interpret them in varying ways, because I sometimes think they do that for a specific reason. And when you work with within this area, you know, you believe. If you don't believe, you don't work in this area, and you know, I try not to give advice, but sometimes I do. Another religious symbol. Hoping that people just sort of use the information and just make their own mind up, but you give a general guidance perhaps of what you see in the future for them. Another coin. This is an Indian coin. Again, it was probably used as a 10-cent piece, and I got it in my supermarket change probably, because it's very similar in size to a 10-cent piece and in width and stuff. So that could have been used as a 10-cent piece. Luck of the Irish. Another button from my mum's button box for the throat chakra. How you going, guys? It's not even halfway through it yet. No bull. So another one button for my mum's button chakra, for the base chakra. The world. Oh, yes, from my mum's button box. Left over from when we were kids and we had Barbies and things like that, or other non-generic, generic Barbies, what have you. A little shoe that got waylaid and just sort of, well, we're a family of hoarders. Not so much hoarding as in over hoarding, but collecting and just putting things aside just in case. Mum probably put it inside her button box because we might one day find the other part of this shoe, but never did, of course, and now it's in my charm bag for stepping outside your comfort zone. So see, lots of different things you can pick up and utilize for charms. It's not just what everybody else has, and everyone else's charm bag, unless they buy it specifically from someone selling charms for charms readings, they will always be different from each other. So no one's charm bag or charm box or whatever your collection of charms is going to be the same, unless they buy a generic set. Some people do buy generic sets, and that's okay. Little caravan for a temporary change, travel, little acorn. So everyone's going to be different. So no one has the same collection unless they buy from someone who set up a selection of charms, and everyone has the same set, if you know what I mean. But then again, that could be the start of your own collection, your own set. I started out with just a handful of things that mattered to me from my family, from my past, and gently and gradually added, and now I've got hundreds of them. You know, I started out with a handful, and look how many I've got now, and you won't find another one like mine. And that's good. That's a good thing to do, to find your own individuality. Add to it. Seek it out. Sort out these ones. Any, mini, money, mo. Excuse me. Because that's what I wanted to have in my charm bag. But again, if someone else sort out the same thing, they may not seek out the exact same thing that I did. They might find another version of it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Start your collection the way that you wanted to start it. This came from this little creature here. This ballerina was actually on a different base, and she came off. I didn't get it from my family or anything. It's not a family connection, but it was on something else when I bought her, and she actually came off. The glue disintegrated or something. I don't know what happened, but she came off that base. So start your collection the way that you want, with what you want. Make up your own interpretations for those charms. Some have a basic meaning that everyone follows. Yes, they do. I mean, you know, like peace, for example. Everyone will knows what peace means. The peace symbol means. And everyone will use that. But how you interpret it with the other charms in your readings for other people, for yourself, it will be dependent on that. Again, I used the boat for, I follow the Lenormand meaning for that. So if you're going to start a charm bag, I'd say go for it. But don't be surprised if it ends up like mine. Hundreds of them. You might start out with a handful and you'll just keep collecting, and believe me, you keep collecting. I've stopped for a while. I haven't actually found anything that I want to put into my charm bag except for the new ones that my friend gave me, which are fantastic. I really like receiving gifts like that, but I haven't added to my charm bag personally myself for a while. Not that I don't want to, but I just haven't found anything that I want to add to it. Not that I won't find anything, you know, somewhere down the track, even tomorrow, or no, not tomorrow, I'm not going anywhere tomorrow, I'm tidying up the house tomorrow. Again, look at this one here, the owl with the chain has been attached to it. So that has a different meaning to what it would have been for an owl. An owl usually means wisdom. It usually means knowing the truth or finding out the truth. But with the chain on it, I would say be flexible in your knowledge. Be flexible. Don't be stubborn in your knowledge. There's always something new to learn. You always learn something new every day. Just because you see things one way and you've always worked that way, you always know it to work that way. Someone else might come along with another idea, and you need to be flexible in your opinion in here on how you follow that news, or actually research something because there's something brand new's been coming in or something like that. Research brings about new ideas every day. A ring that actually belonged to me in my teenage years. So I put that in my charm bag. I'm from the year of the pig, so I actually sought out a pig. And this one has a pearl. And pearls and pigs go together beautifully for good luck. Another spring from a pen, actually, from a big pen that no longer had any more ink in it, so I pulled it apart and kept the spring from that pen. Oops, that was a lock. It fell in there and I don't know where it's gone. It was a lock. It's in there. I don't know. This here belonged to the barbell that I was talking about earlier for my dad's cufflink. This one has lost all of its jewels. There used to be, I think there's still a few in there. Yeah, there used to be little garnets in there. I do believe a couple are still in there, and it's 9-carat gold. But the barbell fell off, and I didn't put it back on. I used them as separate things, so this belonged to my dad. Used to wear cufflinks. A lot of men back in the 40s, 50s would wear cufflinks, and this was probably given to him by someone in the family, but there's little garnets in there, or rubies. I'm not too sure. I've never actually had them tested, but there's 9-carat gold, so it's real stuff. But that's in my charm bag as well as a shield. From somewhere. I don't know where I found that one. In one of the game boxes that we collect when we were kids. Another one of the world. Sometimes when you go out and buy a collection of charms from somebody, they've got a collection of old charms, you find all sorts of things in there. Sometimes there are surprises as well. Sometimes they give you a little bit of extra that you weren't expecting. It's just a thank you, which is really nice and has happened to me a few times. Pin and a leaf. Getting to the end, guys. Another charm. course. Starfish, I found out online. I looked up what a starfish means. It means just do it. Go for it. And if you stumble or make a mistake, that's okay. The starfish are very interesting. If they lose a little, what do you call them? Those things. If they lose one, they grow it back. So it's a very interesting thing about starfish. I didn't know. An Easter egg. Nut and bolt from my son's toolbox. Another button for the heart chakra from my mum's button box. Oh my god, my mum collected all sorts of things. Another one too from my mum's button box for the crown chakra. Oh, there's so many in here, guys. I don't know. It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And how much more time have I got? Oh my god, it's been an hour. You might be getting bored by now. Oh, do I have to go? I don't know if I want to go through all these, guys. There's that many left. Oh, I think I might just call it a day. But you've seen most of them anyway. Pomegranate. I love pomegranates. And there's none more in here that are from my childhood or memories of. So I think I might just pass on them. You don't mind, do you guys? They're all mostly the same, as some repeats in here. So there's that many left. It'll take me another half an hour. So I'm going to leave it at that. You've seen the base of my collection. You understand why and how I collect, and how you could start your own collection. So I think I might call it a day. And yeah, because most of those things in there are no longer part of what's important to me as a personal collection. So thank you guys for joining me today and allowing me the opportunity to show you some of my charms. And you can see there's still a lot more to go. So believe me, once you start collecting, you'll come to a point where you're wondering when you should stop. I've come to that point temporarily because I don't know what else I wanted to collect anyway, and I haven't really found anything else to collect. So yeah, they won't sit up there, will they? There we go. So thank you very much, everyone, and until next time, so many blessings and good luck on your collection.